Hey guys, welcome back to Planting Our Roots Homestead. Today we're going to do the farm tour, so let's get to it. So first off, we got the pole building, 60 by 40. It's still a work in progress getting everything set up, but we got it set up pretty good for the 2 butcherings that we did. So all of our butchering equipment's going to go here. The table that I built that's on wheels will slide over here soon. Eventually we'll get all this other stuff out of here and we'll have control on that side. We got the freezer over here with the chicken in it. We got our 2,000-pound tote of feed. We got plenty of room for not only this tractor and the drill, but my tractor can come in here, my truck can come in here. We can store all our fence posts. Eventually we're going to store all our hay in here. So this is just the perfect outdoor space for us.
So here we have our garden. First we've got our squash plants. We've been trying to get all the weeds out of them. As you can see, they're pretty prolific. They've started producing some fruit on them. Honestly, they've been doing really well. These were transplants that I had started in the old greenhouse at the old house. And the only pests that they've had are a few squash bugs that we've been coming out and squishing. Next up, we've got our peppers. We've got 3 different varieties. These are also transplants from the old house. They're a little bit stunted. They're not looking as great as we'd like them to, but nonetheless, they are surviving. And this plot, they haven't came up yet, but I do see a bunch of little tiny sprouts. Levi's got his 2 chive plants with Johnson grass, which is annoying. Then we've got 4 rows of beans going next. We also just added another row of corn. It hasn't popped up through the ground quite yet, but it's alongside the beans here. I'll walk down here. This is just open space. We're gonna fill some stuff in probably this week or next.
Cantaloupes.
Some cantaloupe plants. We get into the tomatoes. Again, we have quite the Johnson grass weeding problem, but we're kind of tackling it as we go. Somebody's fussy. So I've got mystery tomatoes. I'm pretty sure they're just cherry tomatoes that I snuck out of the old garden from the old house. Then we've got some terracotta tomatoes. We've been working on getting these trellised up. And then last up, we've got some Rebecca Allen tomatoes. Earlier this week, we started trying to trellis them. If Levi wants to tell you a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I use the tomato trellis twine, and it's just not as strong as I want it to be. So eventually, soon I'm going to replace this with cable. But I mean, you can see the process. You got the clips here to hold the tomato up. They say to place them like every 8 to 10 inches. So as we're going, we're just going to keep picking them up, starting to get some good fruit on there.
And then we've got our cucumbers. We've got 3 different varieties. The first, I'm trying to remember. Again, we've been trying to get the Johnson grass out because it's just chaotic. But I can't remember what that is. That might be the Market Moor.
Yeah, I think this is the Market Moor. That's Boston Pickling.
Yep, this is Boston Pickling. And then this is the, I think it's called Beta Alpha.
There's more cucumbers to pick.
So we've got 3 rows of cucumbers that we've been trying to weed through. Lastly, in this lovely overgrown garden is our corn. It's kind of hard to decipher through the Johnson grass, but it's in there. And then sorry, not lastly, second to last, but lastly, there's sunflowers in here that, yeah, they're under there, but anyways, that's the last thing is some sunflowers. And then we're gonna feed the Grump. Good? Better?
You're not you when you're hungry, Betty White.
Somebody's breaking 2 more teeth, so she's been a little bit cranky. So here we've got our little blueberry grove. I don't know if that's what you call multiple blueberry plants together, but we're just gonna go with blueberry grove. They're just about done. We've got this plant here that is like a late ripener.
It's not quite ripe all the way.
Hi, Parp. So when we first moved in, this whole area, all the way down past those blueberries, was overgrown. It was like hip height with just Johnson grass and weeds and whatnot. And so we bush hogged it. My dad helped us get the garden plowed up, and we got the electric fence up. And then this is where we moved around the meat birds.
Eventually it's going to be a food forest for us. Over here we've got the 3 apple trees that were existing on the property. Unfortunately, we're not able to get an apple harvest this year, but we're going to do some trimming up, and as you can see, this one is in pretty rough shape, so we're going to get this addressed and get these things back healthy. And over here, it's a little hard to see because it's mixed in with some of these other trees, but this here is a cherry tree. You can see these little cherries, little tiny ones, but they're cherries.
So like Levi said, eventually we want this space to be either, food forest or just extension of the garden. So down here below the garden, we have the chickens.
Yep. So this was their first area. You can kind of see the ring. This is going to come back like extra heavy. And down here is where they're at now. And you can already see this is one day. They're about 24 hours that they've been on this ground, and I mean you can see a difference already. They're eating the grass, patting it down. We can go inside. So the concept here is we're gonna move these guys periodically. The ducks are eventually gonna go down to the pond and stay. But the chickens are gonna get moved around a good bit. When we get the cow over here, they're gonna follow the cow. So they'll be moving through the field and helping fertilize our pasture for free. So we've got a couple different ways to feed. This one's called the Royal Rooster. It is PVC. You put the feed down in the top, and then they stick their head down here and they eat it out. So that's just to help keep them occupied and give them something extra to do during the day so they don't get bored. The little A-frame up here is just an extra shade structure for the chickens during the day so they can run in and get cooled off and lay all their eggs in there. And one's broke, of course.
And we have one hen or multiple hens and also crows. that have been eating their eggs, which is not ideal.
So that's it on the chickens. As far as the setup.
In the future, we talked about having a static coop for the laying hens.
Yeah.
Just for simplicity purposes, and so that I can market the eggs a little better and not have to hunt them down.
Yeah, that and splitting the flock up a little bit. Just,
Yeah.
We're gonna have one crew that just follows the cows around, and then another crew that's gonna be more for our egg production. So maybe the older ladies will follow the cow. If they decline in their egg production, we'll just retire them that way. They'll still be servicing the farm with their manure and with keeping the fly population down.
The geese. Do you want to talk about the geese and their
Yeah,
purpose?
The geese are guard geese. They're gonna get split up as well. When we split the flock, one's gonna go with them and one's gonna go without them, and that'll be throughout all the time except for the spring, because we think we got a pair, a male and a female. We think it's hard to decipher, but
And we have the Toulouse geese is what they are.
geese.
Geese. What do you think? Next up is this overgrown herb garden that the previous owners had.
Yeah, so it's kind of a neat little space. There's raised beds in here actually. Just landscaping timbers laying out the beds. But you can see some of the herbs right here that they had growing. I mean, there's still some of the herbs in here. I mean, it's a pretty good area. It goes from this butterfly bush to this one. And while it is full of weeds right now, we're gonna get it cleaned up and get this thing serviceable. One thing you'll notice over here is the water hydrant. So we've got water here all the way down past the pole building. It's gonna make it nice for watering the chickens, watering the cows, watering this herb garden. This here is our compost pile. So a lot of wood chips and some sawdust, and just recently with the last chicken butchering, we came in with the blood and we poured it on top as nitrogen, and we buried the guts in the bottom of this pile. That's why it's all moved. It's not quite breaking down just yet, but it's in the process. We got to get some more green nitrogen stuff in there, but we got a good start.
So down from the house, we have this pasture that leads down to our pond. So this is our pond. I think we plan on putting the pigs down here in this area and rotating them through, letting them kind of till up and cultivate all of this overgrowth. Yeah, we come down here and pick a lot of wine berries. That's pretty much what we've been down here for the most part. The cats like to come down here and catch frogs.
And some of the native blackberry is coming up here. There's a whole swath of it in there.
Lots of milkweed mixed in, which is great. That's all I got for the pond. Nothing like it. So we've arrived at the greenhouse. We think it's about a 20 by 20. And It was definitely my biggest draw to the property. We're in the greenhouse now, and I don't have anything growing in here yet, but
we haven't needed it yet because
right.
the season is our growing season. So, but this is gonna come in full effect probably in the next like 2 months.
Yeah.
We'll be really pushing it out here. Planning to grow tomatoes and peppers all through the winter, along with lettuce and all the greens that we can't grow during the dead of winter. We'll really utilize the space. It's got the heater, it's got exhaust fans, shutters, light, power, water.
It's got it all. So yeah, we haven't really started anything in the greenhouse yet, but we will very soon.
Asparagus patch, we just got it started. Cardboard, compost on top, and our asparagus roots down in. It's going to produce for probably 20-25 years for us. Okay, so here we got our pear trees and potatoes in the
Grow bags.
Grow bags, yeah. We got Bartlett and Andrew just to pollinate each other. They're going to go in our food forest in the fall. So we're really excited about that. We're going to keep these shoots here until we can cut them, and then that's going to tie right into the greenhouse. We're going to put some rooting hormone on that and really get those things rooted over the winter and hopefully get them planted before next year.
As we walk up the driveway here, we've got our front field that sits obviously in front of our house. And it's roughly 6 acres.
And this has been like kind of my little project for this 5 acres has been my project a little bit. We planted buckwheat as a cover crop. So there's buckwheat, and then there's also sunflower in here. So our black oil sunflower, and then some gray striped sunflower that we can actually eat. So really excited about that.
All right, so then as we continue to come up the driveway, we've got the pumpkins that I have talked about for a while now. We've got, I believe, 10 to 12 different varieties planted. Yeah, they're definitely our favorite just because we've seen them really take off the past like month or two.
It's pretty amazing the size of them in a short amount of time and how tall they've grown. I mean, they're
Levi's like 5'7". We'll give him that with boots on. So the pumpkins are like 2 feet tall.
But they're vining out really good, and the plan is to till this up and so they're starting to vine out, but before they get vined out, we're going to come through with the tiller, just till this up and plant a clover cover crop to add nitrogen and fertilizer for the pumpkins.
So next is our strawberry patch. So for those of you guys who don't know, we moved right in the middle of planting season, and
so this is the strawberry patch. It was kind of our failure for the year. We got the plants late in the season. We planted them straight in compost, and with the temperatures rising, lack of water, and just overall heat, we just lost most of the plants. We're gonna replant it in the spring and hope for better things to come.
And we've got our potatoes planted up here. They're doing pretty good. And then we've got 1.5 pounds of beans. It's a bit excessive, but we eat a lot of green beans, and whatever we don't eat, we'll try to sell or just share with whomever would like some.
The last thing we got up here also is some sweet potato. Some sweet potato slips going. Beans down here. We're 5 rows deep on some of it. Beans galore. Not only beans there, but all down through here there's beans as well. Where I had some extra seeds and I just started chucking them. I planted a row down through here somewhere.
I see them.
Yeah, there they are. And up through there.
Right.
Any closing statements?
Yeah, that's our little farm tour. We're really excited to be here and to make the land a little bit more diverse and still regenerative agriculture practices and permaculture practices, and just make the land the best that we can. Thank you guys for coming along as we finally were able to take you guys on a tour of our homestead. We feel extremely blessed and we would love to share this blessing.
We'd like to offer a $50 gift card to anybody who comments on this video and subscribes to our YouTube channel, Planting Our Roots Homestead. If you're already one of our subscribers, please just leave us a comment.
For this giveaway, the $50 gift card will be to your choosing of either Murray McMurray Hatchery or True Leaf Market. We will randomly draw from the pool of contestants who complete those 2 steps.
We will leave this open until July 30th and then post the winner on the comments section of this video.
Thank you all for following along with us on this journey. We hope you come plant your roots with us.